life, your term show. Okay, gentlemen, we are live. Thank you for joining us. We got a packed room here. We got the AC cranked because it's already kind of warm in here, but packed room in here today. Can we go around the table? Maybe we'll introduce everybody. So to my right here is
Robin Valadares.
Okay, so Robin, you are a Rockstar VIP member, and then we have
Chinthu Loganathan.
Chinthu, you're now a Rockstar team member, so you've actually got your real estate license, joined the team. You were a Rockstar member for a long time.
4 or 5 years now, maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
And VIP member for 4 years. So.
It's like when you join the team, you're still kind of like a member, right?
Yeah.
So you're coming to all the events and then beside Chinthu, we have Mr.
Connor Eagleson.
Okay, and Connor, you've been a Rockstar VIP member a long time too.
Yeah, 5 years, I think.
Yeah, cool. So this is like the young guys crew that we're always hanging out at the Rockstar VIP events because we're all in our 20s. Now we're all in our 30s, actually. We're getting a bit older here, but so in our 30s. Are you 40 yet?
Not yet. Don't age me.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I was going to say. So we're all in our 30s and we're just trying to figure this thing out and how to get ahead in life and, build our finances and stuff. So there's more than us in the crew, but it's the Rockstar VIP group is great for, the events. We get to all meet each other, hang out. So figured we'd do a live one. And I wanted to specifically talk to you guys about what you're doing with your personal homes, because everybody in here is doing something different with your personal house to generate income. Well, at least the three of you guys are. So I wanted to ask about it. So like, Robin, why don't we start with you? So you've got your house in Hamilton area and you're renting out rooms on Airbnb, if that's right?
Yeah, because traditionally your personal residence, if you subscribe to the Robert Kiyosaki definition, is it takes money out of your pocket.
Yeah,
doesn't really pay you much. So could I find a way where I can put money in my pocket in my personal residence? And I had a bedroom and a bathroom that I don't use often. It's heated, it's cooled in the summer months. Could I turn that around and put it on Airbnb and list it I'm in the Niagara area, so it's kind of wine country and weddings. So I get quite busy from like May 2-4 weekend all the way through the end of October.
And these are like single individuals staying with you?
Generally 2 people. It's a couple. I think husband and wife or girlfriend, boyfriend going out to a family reunion, check out a couple wineries, or they have a wedding. They come in on a Friday. You barely see them. They check in. They say hi. They're out getting ready on the Saturday, go to the wedding, and they're gone by 9 o'clock Sunday morning.
Oh, that's pretty good. Because they're actually like in your house sharing the main space, right?
Yes, and that's some of the challenge, right? So with my wife, Katie, there's always a little apprehension about who's coming in. You make sure they're verified. They have good reviews. They at least have a good identification on their Airbnb profile. But they're there. They say hi to you. And like anything else, when I go on vacation, I look at the amenities listed on a property. And when I check in, I rarely use them. But my decision to base my booking is based on the amenities provided. So they come in, they might have the backyard to use. They have the barbecue to use. They've used it maybe once over the last 4 years. But they're going to make their booking based on that. So yeah, that's what I do.
Have you ever said no to anybody?
A few. Some are like last minute bookings. And they're just suspicious about how they ask about, are you going to be there? How long are you going to be there for? So for those, I kind of turn away because A, it's last minute. So if you know you're going to come back for a wedding, people don't know last minute. Generally, they come in ahead of time.
Yeah.
Or a family reunion. So then I'm less likely to accept them.
And how are you priced relative to local hotel rooms?
About 30-40% cheaper.
Okay.
Because I think my advantage is I don't need the income for ends to be met, whereas a hotel does. So I can undercut them saying, okay, I can make it cheaper because people are going to come for that more often than paying for the hotel price.
Yeah, because I guess staying in a hotel, a decent hotel, not like a sketchy motel on the side of the road kind of thing, would be more desirable because you have your own private space.
Yeah, and it depends on what you're coming for. If you're coming for a family vacation, you're not staying at my place.
Yeah.
But you're coming in and out for a wedding, you need something cheap to put your head on, perfect, do it.
Now, do they have access to the kitchen, living room, other areas of the house, or just bathroom, bedroom?
They have their own separate living room, which is fortunate in my place, as well as they use the kitchen. Mind you, again, many people use the actual kitchen. They have everything they can use in the kitchen like we do, but they generally eat out.
Yeah.
Or they don't eat at all.
What's your occupancy rate like?
So summer months, we're assuming, Chinthu, let's say May till October, I'm looking at like 45 to 60%. Weekends generally, not many people from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Friday to Sunday is quite busy. Now it's World Cup season. That's different. I just had basically in the month of June, I only had my house to myself 2 nights. So 28 nights was booked. And that was because of 2 long-term stays, World Cup base coming visiting in the area.
In the Hamilton area?
Oh, God, yeah. I don't know why.
Commuting to downtown?
We have a new GO station at Confederation area. It's an hour and 20 minutes into Toronto, and it's just consistent timing, so you don't have to worry about the horrendous traffic that we have. So I think they opt for that. They can drink if they want to and not worry about driving, or they can Uber back.
Yeah, stay for a lot cheaper. I guess, yeah, hotels must be crazy in Toronto right now.
Yeah. And this hotel pricing is like way higher too, right? It's like, it could be like $400 a night.
Wow.
Versus this one's much cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes the economics make sense on why somebody would stay and how you can undercut them. So okay, so it's pretty good. Can I ask like how much average revenue you're generating from this?
Yeah. So yearly, if you're looking, it's made in 6 months. So 6 months from the first time I started was around 5,000 for the first year I did it. Now we're closer to 9 to 10,000.
Holy
a year.
smokes!
Yeah.
And it's how much of an inconvenience would you say in your life?
I have to clean the house anyways, so it takes me about an hour to clean the room, including the laundry time. But I get paid for it because there's a cleaning fee associated. The headache is if there's like a 1 day booking, I got to make sure the house is clean and the room is in good shape because I might have my other priorities. Might be recording a podcast and I'm checking in today at 3:00, or I might be away on vacation. I'm like, oh crap, I got to make sure it's ready there.
Okay.
But sometimes it's inconvenience.
And does it feel invasive at all, or like I can't really relax with somebody else in my home? Or does it feel like that for your wife at all?
Probably for my wife. She likes her space, and I think more for women, their change of clothing is different when people are around versus when you're in your own home.
Fair.
Me, I just wear whatever
You're
I want.
still walking around in your boxers.
Yeah, no shame there.
True. Okay. So, but it's obviously worth the money, and your wife has obviously decided, it's worth the money. Like she's up for the discomfort.
She is, because she sees the benefit of it. Just recently, our dog had a condition, and the vet bills are quite expensive. Mm-hmm. But one of the bookings that we did this past June paid for their entire vet bill. So she says, "Oh, I can tangibly see the benefit of this. It's a small inconvenience for a big uppay."
Yeah.
However, when we have kids down the ride, I think that the Airbnb will stop.
Then you would just change it. Yeah. Well, especially if you need that bedroom, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty good, man. 5 to 10 grand, like $5,000 first year, 9 to 10, you said.
Yeah, just I think pricing power, and with the reviews, the superhost status, these things add your credibility, so you rank higher on the SEO of Airbnb, and more people are more like to book with you because you have better reviews. So I think that's just a win-win.
And for doing like some texting to book with people, some cleaning, setting up the listing, like
you could automate everything technically.
Oh yeah,
so you don't actually have to do much yourself.
No.
Okay, so how would he automate everything?
So we use different platform called Guesty right now.
Guesty?
And then we just manage because we are on Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com.
Okay, so, and this is your basement, right?
Yeah, but now we have other properties we do on. So we started with the basement. So maybe, I guess I'll let Robin finish and maybe I can go on.
That's it's automated with your text reminders. So when they first book, they get an automated message. But I try to make sure it's somewhat personalized. So I make sure I include their first name. If they send me a detail about why they're coming, I add that detail in the actual message so they know it's not like it's a robot. Because sometimes when you get those messages, you just tune them out. You don't pay attention to them. So I try to put that little personal touch to them. And then I'll make sure the day before they're sending out their checking code that they need to use, I'll ask if they want any fruits that they like, and I'll make sure I buy those fruits and leave it there for them. Because when you're on vacation, you tend not to eat as best. I don't on vacation. I like to have the fruits and vegetables. So if I had that, that's a bonus for me.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then cleaning wise, I'm already there. So I'll make sure I clean anyways.
Yeah.
That's the automation of it. And I think that's it, because it's my personal residence. It might be different if you're hiring a cleaner to come in on a certain date and have those check-in messages. But since I'm living there, it's just more manual, should I say. Yeah,
it'd be interesting if you broke down like the dollars versus time spent managing all this. I'm sure it'd be a pretty good dollar per hour amount.
I did it last year as I do the return on my time. So I think it was around $67 per hour based on the booking rate, the cleaning I did.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's better than most things.
Yeah.
The other thing with that too is you're going to clean the house anyways. You live there. It forces you to kind of be on top of that stuff. So you want to make sure if someone wants that last minute booking, the house is in good enough shape, you're going to do that anyways. So it's correct. It's not really
you get
that
paid
much
to do
extra.
it. Katie likes it because I get to clean a little bit, and I throw the podcasts on and listen to AirPods.
Yeah, it's not bad. So would you otherwise not use this bedroom and bathroom at all, or it'd be like a spare bedroom? It's
a spare bedroom. Yeah, it just collects dust right now, or wood.
So this is a great way, okay, well, Chinthu, let's talk about yours because it's similar, at least your basement is. So you rent out the basement of your principal residence on Airbnb in the Kitchener area, right?
Yeah. So I'm in Kitchener, and initially we looked at the house and said, hey, this house, if I had to move, and what's the exit strategy, right? The exit strategy is I can't rent it out to break even because it's an expensive house. So I started looking at it, and we started looking at it saying, okay, let's look at Airbnb option. And if we need to move, we could Airbnb the whole house, and that should make enough money to cover all of our expenses. So we started there. And then once we moved into the house, and then we're like, this basement's actually kind of nice. We can make it into an Airbnb and see what would work, right? And we didn't have any expectations. We looked at average numbers. The average numbers were like not that great at the time. I think maybe we looked at, maybe we make $1,000 a month, right?
And are you looking at comparables or are you using software?
We're using software. So I was using
AirDNA?
AirDNA.
Okay.
Yeah, I was using AirDNA and then looking at the numbers. And I'm like, average was 1,000 something. And I'm like, okay, this is fine because it's like, it doesn't have a kitchen. And we just furnished it and it's a walkout basement. It looks nice. And
does it have a bedroom?
It has a bedroom, living room, bathroom,
full bathroom,
and we have a kitchenette that kind of is there, and they could use the backyard.
It's just all you need. It's just like a little hotel room. Right?
Yeah, and then initially we kind of had zero expectations going into it, and then once we started doing it, I kind of went maybe like it'd be nice to have like over $1,000 and good. I was like, I'll be happy with 500. Like, what are we offering here?
And you weren't expecting to do this when you moved in. You was just like, hey, this is not an income property. We're not house hacking.
Like, let's try it and see. And then if this works, then we have something else that we can, do it on other properties for.
Yeah.
And then I think we started it 3 years ago. And first month we were surprised. We're like, and then we were cleaning and we were like booked, like with no reviews. We were getting bookings. And it was in February time and we were like excited. I'm like, oh, we got a booking. We'll like, then one of us will clean. And then we did that for maybe like 6 months. And then we started traveling and doing other things. So we had to bring in cleaners. And then now we have cleaners that come in and clean it because we're just too busy to keep an eye on it. And then we occupied like close to 80%, 85%.
Wow. Year round.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So like it's always constantly moving. And then a few months into running it, we just like, okay, we can't really look at the average price of AirDNA. You need to look at the top like 19th percentile to see. You want to be in that category to be able to be good at it. And once you figure out,
so there is like a bunch of crappy listings dragging down that average area price.
Yeah. And then right now there's a lot more listing in Kitchener just because of like more people not making enough money on regular investment properties. So the more properties are coming on Airbnb. So there's more competition for sure. But that kind of gave us like, okay, this works. And then I went through an eviction in Niagara area. So I'm like, I'd rather do this than go through another eviction. So like turn that into that one. And then, so this is probably like June, like 3 years ago. And then a few months later, we had a property in the Sioux where a person technically moved out and we need to make some changes anyways. And then we're like, let's try this one. And then we turned that one into an Airbnb.
So you're furnishing these places.
Yeah.
I know you're doing like digital keypad locks. Like it's all automated.
Keypad, all automated. All the messages are automated. Even cleaners get the message. And pretty straightforward once you kind of kept it going. And then recently, like last year, we did a condo in Oakville and we're running that one as like a midterm rental.
Okay. So and finding tenants through Airbnb?
Yeah. Initially, I was thinking about going in multiple different like avenues like VRBO and other places. I got it on Airbnb and I was like, started in October and I was booked solid all the way to like November. And I had someone cancel like a 5-month booking. There's like a bidet issue that happened. And
a what?
They installed a bidet and then caused a water leak.
A bidet issue.
Your midterm tenant?
Yeah. 5 days into the...
Really getting comfortable here. 5 days in, they installed a bidet?
5 days in, they installed a bidet, and I get a call from the condo management board saying, hey, there's a water leak in the unit below. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And like, yeah, we went into the unit, there's a bidet there. And I'm like, no, there's not.
Not my unit.
No.
Like the little toilet add-on bidet?
Yeah.
Not like an Italian
Italian bidet, no.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And then, so they ended up eventually kind of fought with me and lied, and then they ended up canceling it. Thankfully, Airbnb still charges like 30 days because of the long-term stay. And then I'm like, I was kind of getting stressed out a bit. I'm like, who's going to book it? And then next day, someone booked it for 30 days or 31 days and paid like $4,500 for a 1-bedroom condo. And then someone else booked it like 2 months right after and then paid close to like $5,000 a month. And I'm just like...
So you're getting bookings consistently across all these properties. St. Catharines, Oakville, Kitchener, Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah, so St. Marie is one that's just been... Yeah, it's been steady. Since,
really?
And
are you priced cheaper than hotels? Like, how are you getting these bookings?
I don't think we price cheaper than the hotels. Even in Kitchener, like someone's booking our basement, they're paying like anywhere from $150 to like $210, $20.
And why is somebody booking a basement in Kitchener?
Yesterday, someone came in, it's just a young couple, I think it's someone's birthday or something. They came in, had a picnic in our backyard. And I didn't cut the grass. I felt bad.
But you said you also have like a professor that comes and stays and
I
like
had a
continuity, right?
Right now I have a professor that comes in, like he's third time staying with us, and he's like stays for 2-3 days during the week, and then I think he's gonna be done in a couple of weeks or so, and then just like regular people.
But they're paying like hotel room rates, but they just rather the basement for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it's a walkout basement. It's a lot of lights, so it doesn't feel like a basement. And you do, going back to what they're booking for, because we have a nice backyard with a fire pit. A lot of people are booking for that backyard and the fire pit. There might be like 5 people that might use it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's just the amenities.
Well, and the other thing for you too, where we always commute to the VIP events together. So I'm always coming to your place and we're carpooling, but he's right off the highway in Kitchener and close to like a lot of like the auditorium where there's concerts, hockey games, things like that. So it's a really nice location. People might like that too, coming from Toronto or a different city. He's right off the main road there.
Yeah. And I won't specifically say where you live, but you're in a nice spot too there.
Close to the highway as well, yeah.
Yeah, so it really helps. Like living in a good home, I guess, like it helps with desirability. So would you say you're now in that 90% of like, or that top 10%, sorry, of?
I think for what we offer, for like a basement unit.
For what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Interesting. So you're like getting premium rents above what AirDNA would show.
Yeah, if you look at an average, you might be lower, but like we are well above average, meaning after everything's said and done, we might be around just over $2,000 after cleaning fees and everything.
Per month,
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It might have been some months are lower and then some months are higher, but yeah.
Yeah, crazy. And then these Airbnb bans and stuff that are happening around, these don't affect you guys because it's your principal residence.
So
like
in Kitchener, there's pretty flexible on the Airbnb rules. I think if you're within 2 or 3 bedrooms, you don't really need a license. And if you have more than 3 bedrooms or something, you need a license.
Like a rental license from the city?
Like a short-term rental license.
Okay.
And then the Sioux, we haven't like a license. And Oakville is a midterm rental. And Niagara, you need a license as well.
Got it. Okay. So Oakville, you're fine because it's a midterm rental?
Yeah. Oakville, you could get a license. The problem with me is there's a condo and my condo board only allows minimum 30 days.
Now, if they stay past 28 days, are they not considered a long-term tenant in Ontario and then you're supposed to sign a lease? Or it converts to like a tenancy?
As long as you're in Airbnb platform, I think you're fine.
Okay.
Because you could always tell the cops, like this person booked it through Airbnb and this is how they booked it. And you could also call Airbnb and then they'll help you kick out the person. Hasn't really happened to me.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't. But for most part, I think that should be okay.
Now, does this affect the insurance you get on these properties? Do you have to get specific short-term rental insurance?
Yeah, insurance will go up. There's a premium for it. Yeah. So like, especially at our principal residence, our insurance around like $350 a month. So maybe if it's not, it might be like 200.
Okay, cool. Now, Connor, you've got a really interesting one with your property, which is probably the most unique of them all and that people at least don't know about. So you bought a home. It has a pool in it. Actually, wait, back it up. You were originally house hacked for your first property, right?
Yes.
So in Waterloo, you bought was it a legal duplex and you lived in one of the units?
Correct.
And you lived in the basement unit, I think, and then moved upstairs later?
Yeah. So I was resonating with a lot of what these guys were saying, but Airbnb, a lot of people more familiar with that platform. So yeah, to backtrack a little bit, how we started was buying a duplex. I had exposure to real estate from the student rental that I lived in university. My dad and another roommate, they bought that. And so I was like the live-in landlord, but it took a few years for the real estate thing to click. So when we were looking for our first residence, I had a good understanding of having rental income, helping to pay the mortgage. This is 6 years ago now, but we bought a place that had 2 units. And I was right along reading like Rich Dad Poor Dad and thinking, like Robin said, like as your home is an asset. So we moved in, originally started on the upper floor, did a few updates, and then we moved to the lower floor and did the same thing. Like that hadn't been renovated in 10 plus years. So we did some updates there. Those 2 conversions and then re-renting got the value of the house up and forced the appreciation there. So we lived there for a few years. We had a really nice low cost of living, my now wife and I. Some sacrifice there, if you will, living in a small basement unit when you could have your own house. But I kept saying to Maggie, like, this will work out in, 5 years, give us some time here. So then that came where we're thinking more about the future and, starting a family and whatnot, and living in a 1-bedroom basement unit. It's probably not the best setup for that. If it was just me, I probably would have stayed there forever.
That's the common theme here.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
dog it out. Strangers in the house.
It's like the Michael Saylor meme where you've got like one chair and a TV and, you're just buying Bitcoin.
It's the bachelor pad.
Exactly. So we then, we're starting to think about family planning and having our own residence. So we literally moved around the corner. Something came up last minute. And I remember texting Maggie because she sent the listing and had a pool. And I was like, place looks nice, but I don't want to deal with the pool. Mm-hmm. And, our student rental actually years back had a pool, and I was the one that oversaw it and made sure, you got to be careful about maintaining all the pool and all the things that come with that. So that was last February. My sister in Toronto, she saw the listing when we knew we were going to be getting this place, and she told me about this platform called Swimply. So like swim, PLY. And what it essentially is kind of like what these guys are talking about with Airbnb, but for an outdoor space. So I didn't know anything about it. We had signed the offer on the house in November. I go on the platform, I make an account for it. I throw up some photos from like the listing, and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll deal with this like next year. But I forgot about it. All of a sudden, May 2-4 rolls around. And we get a message and someone's like, hey, is the pool available today? And I'm like, what? It's
what pool?
Yeah, it's green. We just opened it. It's about 52 degrees. But, the rock star entrepreneurial bug kicked in. And I'm like, hey, pool's just getting going. We're still working on opening it up. But the hot tub's available. There's a hot tub in the house as well. She's like, great. Can I come use the hot tub today? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I figure out setting up the space and host someone. And they pay us an hourly rate to use the hot tub. And then obviously the wheels start spinning. At that
and you
point.
didn't have the hot tub up at that time? Just the pool?
Correct. Yeah. It was just some photos of the backyard. To be honest, the people that listed the house did a terrible job because the backyard's quite nice, but they listed it in the fall and they didn't do any photos of the outdoors. Like the pool was covered. So that's why when Maggie sent the listing, I truly was like, I don't know about the pool. What if this thing, we open it and it's a complete mess? We get one photo from our realtor of that in the summertime, and it's really nicely landscaped. 2 owners ago, someone did a really good job. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we'll take it. It looks great. And it's turned out to be incredible. We didn't realize one of those things where, what is the saying? A luxury once enjoyed becomes a necessity. We're now saying next place, we need a nice backyard. We need a nice pool. Yeah, exactly. But it's nicely landscaped. It's fully private. There's a covered back patio that has the hot tub, and then the pool is in ground in the backyard. So really nice setup. So yeah, basically back to your original question, the Swimply platform, not a lot of people know about it. Shout out to my sister for introducing me to it. But basically, I started getting the platform, started to get some traction. The pool's not heated, so I was just super transparent with people in the description. It's starting to warm up. I would put updates in there once a week. And then we started getting some bookings. I kind of undercut these guys are talking about with pricing. There's not a lot in the area. So I kind of lowered the price a little bit, started to get some reviews, build up the credibility on the platform. And it really snowballed last year, which was awesome. And now this year, obviously with this heat wave we're having, it's really good for business. So it's been quite popular.
Do you have someone in the pool right now?
To be honest, right when we hopped on here, someone had messaged, so I had to quick approve them. And yeah, they're coming 4:30. So in the next hour.
So is Maggie home then?
Yeah, Maggie's getting things set up. So similar to what Robin was saying with the house setup. So there's a bit of that, someone in your space thing that you have to be able to work with and deal with in your day to day. So we keep the space tidy, like you're talking about with the cleaning and whatnot in general. So I always have it pretty well set up where, we've got to throw the vacuum in. There's a little robot that was an investment, but that goes in for a couple hours. It cleans the pool. The couches are all set up. They do come in to use the washroom to change and, use the facility and whatnot. So there is that people in your space element that takes a little bit of getting used to, but everyone, knock on wood, has been, respectful. And there's a bit of a profile where you can see if someone has reviews and a history. But to be honest, a lot of the people, it's a hot day like this. I don't know what Swimply's doing for advertising. We're doing nothing, but someone just reaches out because they're looking for somewhere to cool off on a 40-degree day, and it's maybe their first booking. So you can interact with them a little bit, but there's a bit of trust there in terms of someone coming into your space. And have
there been any issues?
No, knock on wood again. No issues thus far. And the cool thing is now year 2, we're getting some repeat people from last year where, for example, over the winter, I didn't know this was a thing, but there's Swimply Igloo. So we put up the hot tub. Obviously the pool's closed in the winter. We put up the hot tub. This one guy came 4, 5, 6 times because he said his hot tub was broken down. And instead of, paying to repair his, he came to ours, and that worked out really well. And so he was a repeat business over.
Do you have a sauna there too now? Or?
No, we're thinking about it. But no sauna currently, but that's potentially for my own use. And then also for the another amenity. Well, so that's the thing, this platform, when I first started looking at it, those bookings came in around May 2-4 last year. There's a Facebook community to support, just like Airbnb would have a lot of communities as well. there's a Swimply one, and I go on there, and there's people in Florida, Texas, Atlanta, right? These southern US states that are warm year round. And I remember specifically, it was June 12th, and they're like, post your wins so far. And people are posting like 20, 30, 40, 50K months, like couple weeks into the month, because they have a large space. Essentially how it works is the more people you can accommodate, there's tiers for the pricing. And then there are more amenities that you have, pickleball courts, basketball courts, like people have all kinds of amenities. They host a wedding venue. This platform just becomes like the vehicle to do that. They're making thousands and thousands of dollars doing it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. No one knows about it when I talk about it. There's a few in the KW area, but we're the only one like kind of in our whole vicinity. And from like the client or customer perspective, if you will, you see photos from Canada Day the other day. I don't know if you guys saw any of these, but the beach is completely overrun. Like you've got to fight for space. You've got
come to Connor's
sand. Yeah, exactly. It's like people.
It's a good sell.
It's a really good sell. And then the public pools, the community pools, same thing. Like there's no privacy, so people really like that. And to be honest, it's pretty affordable for them as well. If you bring 5-10 people and you all split it, like it's not that expensive considering what you got to pay to like go golfing or go to the movies or anything else these days.
Yeah, totally. It's obvious there's a housing affordability issue in Ontario. Well, what if I told you there's a way to buy a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-family home in Ontario with a full-size backyard for less than the cost of a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo in the exact same neighborhood? A few months ago, we helped a 24-year-old in Hamilton do exactly that. Him and his girlfriend bought a $750,000 detached home. Their cost to own it, $1,619 a month. That's less than rent costs on a 1-bedroom apartment in the same neighborhood in Hamilton. No 6-figure salary, no rich parents, and it's not rocket science either. It's a strategy that's actually been around for ages, but hardly anyone talks about it, and frankly, most mortgage agents at your local bank don't even know it exists. Here's the part that surprises a lot of people. It actually lowers your risk, not raises it. Because of the way this strategy works, even if you lose your job, most or all of your mortgage will still get paid each month. We put the whole thing in a free report. It's called How to Buy a Home for Half the Cost in Ontario. Whether you're trying to crack into the market for the first time, you want to size up from a condo, you've got kids who feel priced out, or you're already investing and you want one more income stream, there's something in this report for you. Grab it at rockstarinnercircle.com/free report. That's rockstarinnercircle.com/free report. All right, back to the show. Yeah, you get the backyard pool experience.
Yeah. You said you've held birthday parties there.
Yeah. So people reach out and they kind of give you an idea of what they're looking for. We don't host more than like 15 people. Like we could, but if they want more, then I'll definitely screen it because we don't want a huge gathering. We want to respect the neighbors and stay on side with everything there. But yeah, there's small gatherings for birthdays. I know someone's already booked like in August for grandma's 90th birthday. Cute. And they like that, they can come right up and sit in a chair in the backyard and it's accessible, if you will. And the kids and the grandkids come and go swimming. So yeah, they can add the barbecue. If they want to hang out all day, they can bring their own food.
That's an extra amenity they can add on is your barbecue?
You have options, yeah. So
to pay more.
The barbecue is like $20 if they want to do that. The hot tub is charged per hour, so they can do that. The pool's like included. But
towels an extra $5.
No.
Goes the toilet paper. That's it.
Yeah. So these guys like to give me a hard time.
It's like going to the Budweiser stage. These guys just rinsing you at every angle.
$20 beers.
Yeah. We've got freezies.
How much are freezies?
Pardon me.
Do you charge on the freezies?
Freezies are a buck each.
Actually? No.
It's a new business, man.
Come on.
New revenue.
That's amazing.
Poor kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God. $50 beers.
To be honest, like we have a lot included that when you go on and see what people do, you can nickel and dime everything. But I like to try and make it as easy for the people as possible when they come and they have a good time. It's all about the reviews, right? We've got now 40 plus 5-star reviews, so that helps. Amazing. And that's what's allowing it to now kind of snowball.
So is it weird though, just having all these strangers in your backyard all the time, or you just kind of get used to it?
So for me, I work from home. So if someone's coming in, I try and go out and say hello to them and just kind of show them around. Now, similar to an Airbnb or a Facebook Marketplace listing, if you're putting something up for rent, like it's all about your photos, and I've got a video now. So they have a really good idea of what they're coming into when they arrive, especially if they've already come before.
Because you show them, hey, here's the back door, here's where the washroom
I've literally got to walk through from where they would come in the back gate to then the whole backyard to then coming into the house to where the washroom is to then
Smart,
back.
yeah.
So
it's like automated.
See everything. Yeah. And then I've got a message that goes out automatically when they book, just like where to park and what to expect when you come in. And then when they come in on the back patio, there's like a little instruction booklet of anything that I didn't put in that, message. There's a character limit, but just like how to change the hot tub temperature and whatever, like a few minor things that they might need.
So you systemize it over.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's all set up. That took a bit of time. But to your question about the privacy side of things, like I'm okay with it because I'm usually home. There are times where like on a Saturday, for example, I know tomorrow someone's booked from 3 to 8 p.m. Maggie and I, it's great because again, to Robin's point about, having the wife on board, she loves it. She loves what it does when the cash comes into the bank account because we're like going out for dinner tomorrow. Like we're stepping out of the house for a bit. We've got to run errands anyways. We're going to go out for dinner and then we're being paid when we're doing that. So it's really nice in that regard. And you get used to it and the people are really, really friendly. Like it's, nice families that are typically there. No one's there to kind of damage your place. And so I haven't had any issues, knock on wood.
The other thing that you were looking into was you have a back shed and you were looking to potentially running either utilities one day if you carry on with this, or a compostable toilet, so then people don't even have to come to your house. So that can create even better separation over time.
Yeah, if someone...
Porta potty would work, right?
What's that?
Porta potty.
Porta potty, yeah.
If someone had a fully self-contained backyard where like, some people have the pool house with the changing area and the washroom, and like a lot of people on this Swimply Facebook group have that, then it would be amazing because you truly could let them in your backyard. Your door's locked. You shut your curtains. You don't even know that they're there, right? They're doing their own thing completely.
Totally.
The house setup that we're in right now, it's great for being comfortable with some people and sharing the space a little bit for like the revenue that it creates. And we're okay with that. To be honest, this house is probably not like a forever house for us. So like if we were thinking 10 years down the road, we might look at something like that, but I don't know if it's going to be worth the cost right now to do that. Now that this is something we think we might need on our next house, the nice backyard, then maybe that one has like, that fully backyard self-contained area. So I probably won't do it this time just because to Robin's point, like as family grows and you have kids, like who knows if we continue this or not. Maybe we'd be really picky where you can kind of limit like the hours. So someone, if they want to book 6 hours on a Saturday and we know that we're going to grandma's that day and we can give them the space for that day and not have to worry about a nap for a kid or whatever and having that area, then we could make that work. But yeah, I don't think it's worth the investment per se right now. Like it's nice extra cash and we had some startup costs that we're going to have anyways owning a pool, like that robot vacuum and opening and closing and, the floaties, like things we want anyways. But now this year, a lot of that was taken care of last year and there's chemicals and things you need a little bit here and there, but the expenses are actually significantly down this year and then the revenue's going up. So it's kind of nice. So I think it's a make hay while the sun shines type of thing with Maggie on board. And like, we've got this window before we have a baby running around. And then we'll see what happens. So just to answer your question, probably not worth the investment. Similar with the sauna too. Like I would love that, but if this isn't like our forever house, then we might just wait and do that in a future house and then see, carry that profile over to a future space if you have it and then continue from there.
Okay, now all three of you guys just recently got married actually in the last 2 to 3 years. Connor, is it 3 years now? 2 years?
3 and a bit for me.
3 and a bit, yeah. And then these guys last year. Last year, yeah. So how is that changing things, if it's changing things at all? Or is it just family planning? Like if Chinthu, you've got a kid due next month. Connor, I don't know if we can announce it, but you gotta have the kid due.
Kind of already did though.
Yeah. Robin, I think you're thinking about it. Yeah. So like, is it the kids really that are going to change things? Like how have things now shifted from your 20s to now into your mid to late 30s? How things are changing?
Yeah, I think the kids are going to definitely change it because for my situation, it's the same space that I live in. So it's one thing to have a little toddler running around and strangers in the area. Yeah. Just for safety reasons, as well as kind of peace of mind that the toddler knows who's mom and dad and who are these random people coming in. So that's the biggest change that's going to happen. But then maybe you'll find another avenue to maybe I have a basement that I can fully finish and then have that separation, physical separation like you do, Chinthu, that I can still run the Airbnb out of the house, just a different area of the house.
Did you house hack before?
No, I did not.
Okay, so when you bought this house, did you ever have plans of putting in a basement apartment?
I had plans of putting in a basement golf simulator. Driving income through there.
It's probably an app for that too.
That'd be cool. The income side, get that on Swimply. You could definitely rent that out.
Yeah, that was my thought. But now if the baby's on the way in the years to come, then upstairs is off limits. Maybe the basement's open for either a golf sim or another rental.
On Swimply, so you can just rent out different aspects of your home? Like if you have a golf sim?
Yeah, it's focused on pools, but when you're like a customer searching, you can pick the amenity that you're looking for. Like you could rent a tennis court. Like for example, in Waterloo, like I'm a big tennis person and very, very hard to get courts. So if someone had a private court in their backyard, you rent it out for like $100 an hour, someone would definitely pay that to be able to come play tennis.
And I don't know any other app where you would post these types of things.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could be on like Marketplace or something, but then you're just,
who's really looking for it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd have to stumble upon word of mouth.
This has like vetting and people are being screened a little bit and like, a bit of a background check and all that. So someone's gone through that process.
It's cool how technology is like enabling the sharing, I guess sharing economy, gig economy, where you can share these portions of your property and stuff, which was never really accessible before, except maybe posting flyers like at the tennis club.
For sure. Well, yeah. And I know on the Swimply side of things too, where people are on Facebook groups and posting like, community to-dos. And like, I'm not out there actively that much advertising and we're literally just letting the platform do its work. But if you have a space like that and you promote it and, use like the principles that Rockstar teaches with marketing, like that's where those people in the States are doing incredible with it, is they're paying for leads and for ads and whatnot and driving traffic to it. So yeah, if you had something cool like a golf simulator, totally could turn that and use this platform until maybe you branch off and start your own full business with it. But this is like a good launching pad where you don't have to take a whole lot of risk to do that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend's brother that lives in the US and he's using Swimply. I think he's making like over $60K, but it's like a massive backyard. And then kids' birthday parties and like big get-togethers. And then apparently they have like a pool house and they could use the bathrooms and stuff. And they just kind of close all the curtains and they're barely home sometimes. And then he's killing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of can we ask how much money you're now generating?
Well, I was just going to say tomorrow's 4th of July in the States and the big 250th, and like everyone in this group is like going like literally like going so excited. It's like Christmas. Yeah, they're they got surge because you can add surge pricing. So like on Canada Day, we added like a little bit of a buffer because we knew it was going to be popular, and it's 45 degrees. So you can do like weekday discounts. There's all kinds of ways you can manipulate the pricing to like bring people in or charge extra on like a popular day. So last year, literally from nothing, from a green pool on May 24 to the end of the summer, May and June were kind of slow build, and then July and August was like great. We had a couple bookings where like on a Saturday it was like $600-$700 days because people were there for multiple hours, brought like a family reunion. So I think by the end of the year we made about $7,500.
Wow.
And then this year, like Maggie was saying, she's like, it feels slow, but what we did was we kind of refined a bit of our numbers of like who can come and like the hourly rate and whatnot. So we're looking for less bookings but larger or more like quality bookings, if you will, because then it's less invasive to our space. People come for like 6 hours on a Saturday. You only have to set it up once. You don't have to worry about coming home in between and like refreshing everything. So yeah, we've had less bookings this year, but June was already like double what it was last year. And July, we've got like, another couple thousand booked from people planning ahead. So yeah, it's hopefully going to be even more than last year. Yeah. And then we'll see where it goes from there. In
Crazy.
Years.
Yeah. So you're making like, I don't know, hopefully call it 10 grand a year from your pool, 10 grand from a spare bedroom and bathroom in your home, 24 grand from a basement you're not using, which one day you can always reclaim as well, right? Well, all of these spaces you can just...
Yeah. For
especially with short-term rentals, you have this such flexibility because you could say these weekends I'm using it, this day I'm not. Like
we have like friends and family staying over, then we'll just close it, right? So we could use it ourselves. So in that way, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it gives you that flexibility.
Yeah. And then even the other Airbnbs, we have used it personally when we're in the area, kind of thing.
Well, and that's the nice thing you talked about. Anthony asked the question about family planning. Like for you, you're fully self-contained in the basement. So if you know family's going to come, which I believe you said they are going to come from overseas and visit, you just block it off and you've got a nice space for them where, you've got that whole area for them to use.
So it's pretty straightforward and it gives you the most flexibility. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And it's like right now it's getting harder and harder for people to buy a house. And then just having these options would definitely make it easier. And especially with like a basement unit, that's probably the only house that like if you're making like 120, 130K to buy the first house, and you could actually buy a house with, if you have a secondary income, it has to be illegal 2 units, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about what you guys are doing is you don't need a legally separated 2-unit property, like where you have to put a long-term tenant in. Like you're leveraging your property, just different aspects of it, different parts of it, and it's not a legal separate unit, which obviously comes with a premium when you buy it.
Yeah. For me to convert to a legal 2 units, I probably had to spend like maybe 30, 40K on it right now.
That's not bad at all though.
I know, but I might get $1,500 in rent. What's the point, right? I spent $5,000 here and I'm making more than that and I could still use it.
Yeah. 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 When you put it that way.
Yeah.
And then the bylaw, well, like these, obviously they've done a big Airbnb crackdown in terms of allowing them, not allowing them. But it seems like across the board, cities are okay allowing them if it's a portion of your property.
Yeah, if it's a principal residence, I think pretty much everywhere it's allowed. And technically for us, it's not a secondary unit. It's technically I'm renting part of the house, same as Robin on paper. It just self-contained because we have a separate entrance for them. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think you have to speak to your accountant, to your earlier point, Chinthu. If it's your personal residence, I think there's an exemption you can file with the CRA that says that you're not changing the use of the property. It's still a personal residence for the purpose of a short-term rental, and the majority of the space is still used for personal residence, whereas for my place, it's 20% used for the actual short-term rental. So it's not the majority, so the use is still the same. So it doesn't file against... It doesn't
HST
change the
implications.
Use,
I think if it's like minus around 30%, similar to maybe close to you,
it would affect the capital gains tax.
The disposition of it.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. And then we went on both sides. We get income that we're claiming, and then we can offset our expenses because a portion of the expenses are used for the generation of revenue.
Yeah, which is expenses you'd have anyways.
Correct. I got to pay
eating
for
costs
laundry,
is the same.
toilet paper.
Yeah, laundry
Swiffers,
is a
all
couple
that
bucks
stuff.
more, but cleaning supplies.
Get paid on credit card, get credit card points, travel, the cycle continues.
And then 20% and 30% you write off on it, and then it could potentially, depends on total expense of the house, it could be very beneficial.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you two kind of pissed me off a little bit. You somehow became the credit card experts after listening to the podcast I did with the credit card experts, and now I go to you guys for advice.
I think the biggest thing with all this, and why I appreciate Rockstar and this little community we formed within it too, is it's just the mindset shifts of a lot of people still have that Canadian dream of buying a house and living in it, but like Chinthu said, it's getting harder and harder to do that. So you kind of got to get creative, and some of this stuff, it's not normal to have someone sharing your space or coming in your backyard or living in your basement or whatever, but it's what you got to do to be able to get ahead. And then you build options from there, where maybe the next property you can do it differently, or you build equity and you can use that to get other Airbnbs and create revenue streams that way. So I think to your question about how will it change, we're always going to try and think outside the box and get ahead of any of these changes that are happening, but you've got to get creative and be willing to go against the norm to do that.
Yeah. I think the average person's first reaction is well, why would I want to share my backyard? Mm-hmm. I want to use my basement, or I don't want strangers in my house. Yeah. That's the initial first reaction, I think, from an average person hearing that.
But we bought the house for the backyard, okay? And we barely use it because I'm always busy. Gerda's always busy. We're running around doing different things. The odd times we had some friends over, we use our deck quite a bit. But the amount of times we actually go into the backyard and hang out or have a fire, might have had 2 fires. There's definitely more Airbnb people who had fires in our backyard than I have.
Yeah. I think about this a lot because I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo. And sometimes I think it'd be nice to have more space. But at the same time, I constantly think about I don't actually need more space. This is the perfect amount of space that I need in my life right now. And I've pared down my possessions to fit within that space, as opposed to being get a much bigger space just to store these extra possessions I'm not even using. But I heard a Michael Saylor quote, or he was talking about it on a podcast. He's 100 people can buy a boat. He's 90 of them find out they can't afford the boat. 10 of them, can actually afford to maintain the boat and can hold on to it over the long time. One person actually has the lifestyle to enjoy that boat. Mm. And I just feel that's with everything that people buy. It's the ATV, the toys, the house. If you do heat maps of homes on a neighborhood, you see 80% of a home isn't used. You just use the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, the regular spots. Mm-hmm. And there's just so much unused space that I think maybe growing up, it was more normal to have that extra space and whatever. But as things have gotten tighter and people are more financially compressed, it's and the technology allows for it, using these extra spaces it's making a lot more sense.
Definitely. Yeah. Like you said, it raises eyeballs when people they ask about it, but then as you peel back the layers and they ask you more questions, and you get used to it a little bit, and they know the revenue coming in, it becomes more digestible.
I think everyone usually how much time do you spend on it? Or it's a headache or it's an issue. Those are the questions people ask, right? And then technically, I spend a little bit of time on it initially, and then once everything's set up, if someone's coming in, checking out, no issues, I don't even need to check my messages. Everything's automated. Everything kind of goes through. Even if there's certain questions they might ask, I already have prepped answers for it, so that will just kind of go in.
Yeah.
So technically, if something unless really goes wrong, I don't really need to be involved. right?
Because you've built in these systems.
Yeah, and it's fairly easy. It's like if you're tech savvy, you should be able to sort it out. It's not that hard. And then Airbnb has their own messaging system now. You could use that as well.
Yeah.
But we just have a third-party software because we're using it for multiple different platforms.
Yeah, you figure it out as you go. And then the other thing about you three is you guys bought these homes without any intention of doing this. It just kind of came up. So if you like hear something like this and you're like, oh, I've always wanted to, I'm in the market for a house with a pool, and then you can maybe potentially buy something that would, that has a pool house in the back so that it's fully automated so that people aren't in the, like, you can be intentional with it, whereas you guys kind of stumbled into all three of these things too.
I would say like, it might not make sense to buy an expensive house to, hey, I'm going to go do this and that. It might put you in a bad financial situation. But if you already have it, or if you're like, oh, I can still afford the house, but here's an extra way that I might be able to make extra couple of dollars on it, that might be a better strategy. Because a lot of people might a lot of people bought cottages and that they couldn't afford, and now they're in like harder trouble, right? Because now they can Airbnb it, etc.
Yeah.
For sure. I started last year. We opened the pool. We were hosting Maggie's mom for her birthday, so we had one of the pool.
You didn't charge family, right?
No. This is before.
Sense of freezing.
This is free Swimply. But
you need to pee, Maggie's mom? $5.
What was I saying? We wanted to have the pool open because we were hosting some families. Our first time gathering at the house. We had done a bunch of renovations ourselves, and so we opened the pool thinking it's going to be beautiful and a nice site for everyone to hang out in the backyard. And it's like green and it's brutal, and like Maggie's on TikTok looking at all these different chemical kits you got to do, and like I'm like cussing at this thing because we're spending hundreds of dollars on these kits and whatnot. So to Chinthu's point, like we had no intention at all of making money off this. That's why I honestly texted Maggie from the start. Is I remembered from my university days that the pool was a pain in the butt. We had to spend a lot of money to upkeep it and whatever. And now I love it, and I'm out there like cleaning it every day and scrubbing it and whatever. Yeah. But to your question,
it's easy to justify cleaning it as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a robot that'll clean the tops. We have the robot for the bottom, but I don't even want to get the top one because it's like therapeutic. It's like a meditation for me to go out there and clean this thing, and you get satisfaction.
Just thinking about all the dollars.
But no, you asked the question and Robin answered it, and we kind of got sidetracked. But you asked about when kids come in. So yeah, Maggie and I have kids on the way, and similar to Robin, like the Swimply thing, who knows? We're going to want, teach the baby how to swim. We're going to want to be out there and use the space ourselves. But to Chinthu's point, like not all the time. So maybe it'll work a little bit. That'll be a conversation with Maggie of, how much wiggle room we have. But there's another platform that we're actually on that a lot of people don't know about that might be cool to share in case, again,
thanks
you
for bringing
said
it up. Yep.
people, whether they have a space already or they're looking at a space. I wouldn't say, again, to Chinthu's point, to buy something strictly for this, but another platform we're on is called Home Exchange. So again, just kind of getting creative with this house where Maggie's parents put us into this one, but it's actually from the movie The Holiday, the Christmas movie with Cameron Diaz and I think Kate Winslet's her name. They swap houses from LA to
London area.
At Christmas time. Yeah. And it's a real website. So this movie's like 25 years old, but there's a real website. And my in-laws are on it because they have a really nice place in Stratford near the theater. What you basically do is you put your house up there, and like Airbnb, but a lot more intimate. Instead of paying money to go to someone's place and stay there, you have like this currency on the platform. So you can either give your space up and get points, or you can do a reciprocal exchange. That's how it started, was reciprocal, where someone from UK goes to LA and you straight up trade. But then they allowed people to bank points because people have multiple properties or they're traveling and their house is available. You can basically get a dollar value, if you will, for your property based on your amenities and your location and how many people you can sleep. And you can bank these points and then use the points to go stay at someone else's place all around the world. It's worldwide. So it's a really cool site. So my in-laws got on it. And they did an exchange to Wimbledon. They're big tennis fans. And they went to Wimbledon, stayed in this like small apartment right in the heart of Wimbledon. And this couple came to Stratford and stayed in this huge 3,000 square foot house. And so they both had a really cool time because that couple would never stay in something like that and like get to see Canada and go to these plays. And for my in-laws, they got to go and right in the heart of Wimbledon during peak time when hotels and everything else are crazy expensive. For a swap, and you get to know the people. So really intimate. You always typically anytime we've done like a video call with the people beforehand, get to know them a little bit. And then you kind of build what a side benefit is you build like this network where, say I do an exchange with, someone in Florida. Well, they know 5 other people they've exchanged with in Italy and in Spain and in Australia. And then they tell you about this place you need to go to there. And you can kind of build this network of people all over the world. I just wanted to mention that one because that's something where when we have a child, we've already are in conversation with someone that has a cool spot in Mexico. They have family in Kitchener-Waterloo, so they like to come here to visit their family. So we've been talking to them because, say we've got a young baby, Maggie's on a mat leave, I can work remotely. We want to go stay at their place.
How did you hook up with them?
Swap. They reached out to us. So this platform, you basically can set availability. And you inquire to me and say, hey, is your house available? Here's what we're coming for. It's very personal. Like there's lots of reviews and like social score, if you will, of like track record and years of experience. So again, people are in your house, you got to be comfortable with that, but you can vet them very, very well. So we had a conversation. It didn't work for them to come to our place at that time, but we've kept in touch, and we're talking about maybe a reciprocal exchange sometime when we're flexible to travel and we've got a baby and they want to come to visit in the area.
Wow. I'm just
Something tells me in a year's time we'll come back and Connor's going to work at an Airbnb arbitrage where he goes to the home away, uses that home, rents it on Airbnb, and makes the spread.
Puts it on swim.
Goes on, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool. So we've done.
What are all these freezy wrappers doing in my backyard?
We've done one where we've stayed at someone's place, but we've banked a couple. So nice thing with family close by is sometimes people reach out. Like for example, we're at a cottage for a couple weeks coming up here, and someone's staying at our house for a week of that. So we're going to bank a chunk of points where we literally have all these points that we need to use. We don't need to use them, but you can then go stay 2 or 3 weeks somewhere without having to pay. So you link up with these guys, get the credit card points for the travel and the like flight, and then you have this home exchange for stay, and you can travel pretty inexpensively. So again, just another unique way to turn a primary residence into an asset that otherwise would not be if you weren't open.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking like if you go to Mexico, they go to your place. Like you're aside from the flight expenses and travel to get to and from Mexico.
Yep.
Your expenses aren't going up. Like, let's say you spend a month in Mexico, you're buying food, groceries, cooking, but now you get to experience a month in Mexico.
Exactly.
And they get vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Nothing changes.
Which is going to be
changes.
cheaper. And like buying groceries in Mexico and be cheaper than buying groceries in Kitchener.
Yeah. Yep. And the only other option would be like you go to Mexico, you pay a hotel or Airbnb fee somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then you put up your home on Airbnb or something for the month, but then you have to find someone to book it for that month.
Yeah, a little bit more to coordinate there. Chinthu probably could figure that out because he's got so many different Airbnb profiles already, but we've already got a couple things on the go, and Maggie's accepted these two.
That's the other thing. You have to now learn the Airbnb platform, exactly. Whereas this is kind of simple. It's just a straight up swap.
Yep.
Or it's just for a credit, which then you use that credit elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So then the credit makes it much more like fungible, like you can stay all over the place.
Yeah, it takes a bit of coordination. Like for my father-in-law, he's retiring this year and his dream is like the Rugby World Cup. So next fall, October 2027, he's already got something lined up for Melbourne, Australia. And that family wants to come to Stratford for the Shakespeare and the plays and whatnot. So they've had this coordinated for like 18 months or 2 years even. So it does take a bit of, you got to send out some messages and see if people are available and whatnot to coordinate. But if you know what you're doing in your travel plans, then you get ahead of that and you can send those out and coordinate things.
Wow. Okay. Now, you guys have tons of other things on the go. So we mentioned credit card points. I think all of us here are hacking credit card points to travel much cheaper. But I think when I think about it, everybody here has a full-time job and then side hustles as well as rental properties. So like Robin, like you're, I think full-time physio still?
Yeah, kind of part-time right now.
Part-time now?
Yeah.
But you own the physio clinic?
I own one of the physio clinics, the real estate and the business. I co-own that. So
I commercial property?
Commercial property and the business itself.
And the business itself.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a financial education company.
Yeah, a personal finance platform that teach health professionals how money works because no one gets taught that.
Yeah. And then you've got rental properties.
Yep.
You know, you're doing the Airbnb thing. You're doing the credit card points.
Yeah, you know.
It's just like an overwhelming stuff. Chinthu, you've got a full-time job as an engineer, I believe.
Yeah, I'm in engineering consulting. It's like my 9 to 5. I have a real estate license with Rockstar as a side hustle. Then I have my rental property, so like which is long-term rentals, short-term rentals, short-term, I guess now mid-term. And then what else? Something else probably, I can't remember.
Just trying everything. Connor, same thing with you. You've had many side hustles over the years. Right now, I don't know if you have an active side hustle right now, aside from Swimply and all these other things you have going, the rentals and...
Yeah, just the gig, turning the house into an asset. But yeah, full-time job. I'm a life insurance advisor. And then we've got a rental property. So dealing with the tenant turnover right now, which becomes like a side job when it's not passive, trying to get it back into passive mode, get the right people in there, and then be able to set that and forget it. But yeah, that's properties, these little side gigs with the house and whatnot.
So do you guys ever, I don't know, what's the downside to all this? Do you guys get burnt out? Do you ever regret doing all this stuff? How do you guys, because you guys are now like, you're not in your 20s anymore, which is when you guys all kind of started, I believe. Is that the case? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So all in your 20s started thinking like, I want to build wealth. I want to, you know, I'm ambitious. I want to have multiple streams of income. I want a business, whatever. You started on this path of financial freedom and independence. You guys are now in your mid 30s. right? Married, kids on the way, you've grown up a bit. So like with where you guys are at your journeys, would you do anything differently? Do you like certain aspects of what you're doing now? Do you not like other aspects? How do you guys think about this? You're like, I'm glad I started. Let's keep it going.
If you're going to go on the horn, I took on a lot in my 20s because I didn't know what the true yield of my time was, but I wanted to know that I want to live life on my terms and exit out of being a therapist or a hands-on business owner in my early 40s so I can spend time with my family. I think the motivating thing was my dad worked tremendously hard, immigrant to the country. We may not have seen him as much. And while he provided for us, maybe he wasn't there emotionally or spiritually as much as he could have been. He did a great job. So for my next, for my kids, can I be there more present on a Wednesday afternoon at 2:00 and not take time off work because I don't need to work to be with them? So I took on a lot just this past year. I'm scaling back a little bit. I've realized the true worth of my time. And sometimes I just have to say, even though I get paid for it, it's not yielding me emotionally, spiritually, or monetary returns. So I'm not going to do it as much. So hopefully, as many men, we go through this ego issue that we can do so much, but we realize we cannot because things will suffer and there's trade-offs. And I don't want to get a level where that trade-off or the regret happens. So I'm slowly scaling back now. Hopefully in a couple of years to come, I'll have maybe 2 or 3 things to do. And then everything else is just like, hey, it's family time.
Really? So you're kind of intentionally ramping down for that or preparing for that?
Because I know everybody here can say that physically, that you're not as quick mentally, physically as you were, let's say, a decade ago. And guess what's going to happen in the next 10 years? I can tell you because I'm a therapist. It's not going to get any better. So you have to make sure you plan yourself well so you can do the things you want to do with your friends and your family, but also have time to enjoy yourself without burning yourself to end, and your health will suffer, and you don't want that.
Jeez, yeah, you must see the health aspect all the time.
A lot, every day.
Yeah, so it's a constant reminder of like maintaining that, making that a priority.
Because it's hard to get your health back. It is tough, depending on what kind of comorbidity or condition you get.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if part of it is you have built up a much more financially comfortable position. So let's say you're more financially secure than you were 10 years ago. So you now, have the luxury of now stepping back and focusing on other aspects of your life.
Yeah. And I don't think there's a solution though, because you'll trade things off because there's only so much finite time. So you'll put your time into your career, but inevitably your health might suffer, your relationships might suffer, your friends. I've lost tons of friends over the years, mainly because I don't have the time for them or they don't fill my cup in that respect. But I still lost friends, so you might feel a little more lonely. I had a divorce that happened, so that's something that's also challenging that, hey, I don't have the ability to take care of that relation because maybe I was doing X, Y, and Z. There could have been a component of that. So yeah, there's definitely trade-offs. There's no solutions. You got to choose what your regrets are.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've definitely learned that as well. Like it's Mike DeZormo told me once, he's like, life is like spinning plates. And it's like you got the relationship plate, you've got the fitness plate, you've got the money plate, whatever, and you got to spin all these plates. But you focus too much time on one plate, the other plates start dropping and smashing on the ground. And, so you got to kind of rotate. It's tough, but it's like the only choice.
Correct. Yeah. So you do the best you can.
Yeah. Chinthu, you've like done a lot specifically in real estate. You've done, I think, every strategy when I think about you.
I kind of like, it just happened by accident here, right? Like I didn't really plan on doing all of it. And when I started back in the day, it made sense to buy a student rental because I was technically living in a student rental at the time. I knew the market. I just knew what I'm getting myself into. I started there. Then all of a sudden, student rental didn't make sense. Then I came across a few condos. At the time, I didn't know the duplex strategy and all the other stuff we have in Rockstar right now. And then I kind of went and tried that. And while I was doing that, then someone told me about Rockstar, and then I joined Rockstar, and then I kind of, tried this. I bought a duplex, did this.
I think you've done every real estate strategy.
Maybe. I don't know. And then Airbnb came by, and then I heard stories. I just never knew I would try it out. But then, like, why not? And tried it, and then, like, the numbers made sense, right? Like, I'm always been chasing the numbers guy. So if the numbers made sense, I'll go for it. So that's how I end up in London, Kitchener, St. Catharines, in the Soo, right? But right now I'm looking at, in the Soo, I have a house where it's like a duplex side by side, and I have a garage with actually all the utilities running to it. So we just kind of snaked the sewer line's good. I have running water there, have a electricity, natural gas and everything. So I'm looking to convert that into a unit. And then if I do convert that, then I'll probably turn that into an Airbnb. So I have something on the go. But at the same time, maybe I do have a lot of help in a way, like a lot of connections that I could reach out to. So like, I'm not taking on the same amount of stress maybe I would have taken on like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Like for mortgage, I don't need to worry about it. I'll just call, the BM Select guys, and I know they'll sort it out for me. And it's pretty straightforward. Same thing with all these different places. When I do run into an issue, I know there are people that I can reach out to and I could solve that problem fairly easily. And that it might cost me a little bit extra money, which is fine, right? Because when you're doing multiple things, you're going to take a hit somewhere. So sometimes it's going to cost a little bit of money.
So are you honing in now on, let's say, Airbnb as your preferred strategy, or it really depends on the type of house and its location?
Yeah, I think
and a certain strategy works there and it doesn't work elsewhere.
I think for me, it's going to be, location and that specific property.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy any property specifically to do Airbnb. I kind of turned the properties that already existed into an Airbnb when the time became, made
so you're
sense for me.
just keeping yourself open to the best opportunity out there.
And if the numbers made sense, I would take that chance. And the thing with Airbnb is it an initial investment that you need to put in, right? A lot of people, we took on some Airbnb co-hosting, like managing for other people. One of the things we found is it took us more time to manage other people's properties than our property, because we thought it would be same as managing our property. But the problem is we are okay spending the extra money, so we don't need to keep fixing it. And we would buy a premium certain things, and that's we're okay with it because we know we're going to make the money because we kind of know what's going on. And with a few other people that we help managing for it, they were not willing to spend the extra money, and then which is causing more issues. And then there's you just, if you're going to the Airbnb side, you need to be able to pay a little bit extra upfront to be able to give the people a premium experience, and it's going to reduce your headache by a lot.
Okay.
So then if I had to go back and redo all of it, I think I'll probably stick to student rentals. Honestly, just pure numbers wise, it's probably the least headache, and then what makes sense, or a duplex, triplex strategy. But if it's a vacation home, if I'm going to buy it and for me to use it, maybe, but I don't see myself buying a vacation home anytime soon. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You've tried a lot, man. It's good though.
Kind of happened and then just went with it.
Yeah, see what works. And then Connor, I feel like career-wise, you've really played around with different careers and businesses. I think primarily sales for all of them, but it feels like you're now settling into one chosen career path. So what's that journey been like for you, trying out these different careers as your main hustle and now finding one and laying your stake in the ground on it?
Yeah, for sure. I think to what Chinthu was saying there, if I had the crystal ball, I would definitely go back to when my dad offered me to buy indoor student rental in university in 2011 for $5,000 and own a piece of this property. I would have done that.
And you could have Swimply that.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
I could have invented Swimply 15 years ago. So my path, in terms of all this financial education and everything we're kind of talking about that I love about this group, that's just been in the last 6 years or so for me. Before that, I kind of was on a track. I thought I was going to get into policing, similar, interested in helping people and serving the community and communication and the skills that I've tried to build that are applicable to sales as well. And then it was really for when COVID hit and we started to have time on our hands, and I was working a account manager job that was all in person at that time. Completely kind of shut down, kept my job, but then had all this time on my hands, found the Rockstar podcast, started to go down all these rabbit holes with the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the real estate, Bitcoin, and all of that. And then you just start, as you guys know, peeling back the onion of asking questions and questioning why are things the way they are and what's happening with money and all of that. So that's where that kind of snowballed, where I was grateful to be in a sales type of role and then just kind of figure out where that skill set best fit. And the financial education side of things just was really resonating with me. I've moved around a few different roles, but to your point, in the last 3.5 years, I've been in the insurance space now. And big shout out to my father-in-law because he's worked with Sun Life his whole career. So that was something that came up when I was working for the Bitcoin company, Ledin, that does the loans backed by Bitcoin. That was a great learning experience, 1.5 years working with them and seeing what happens when there's volatility in the markets and supporting clients. But then getting into insurance, which is so boring, but also a huge need that people have, stays very steady. So I think it pairs really well with some of these risks, if you will, that I'm taking in other ways with real estate, with investments when you're young, betting on yourself, things like that, to have a steady industry that doesn't really chop up and down all that much. So that's worked really well. And then, and just in terms of anything I would have done differently, it's just, I feel like, to Robin's point, want to get onto that path that you see with Tom and Nick and these guys, where they've set up a life that I heard someone say recently, you don't have to take a vacation from. So like what I'm prioritizing more now versus 5 years ago even was there does obviously take a season of working really hard and spending all your weekends going to property showings to find that rental property and then to fill it with tenants and all these things that people aren't doing in their 20s. They're wanting to go socialize and do whatever else on the weekends. Like it takes that time to then, or take a course to learn and improve your sales skills, to get a credential that's going to allow you to change in your career. So kind of went through a season of that, and obviously going to continue to grow and evolve in that way with the main hustle. But outside of that, especially with like a baby on the way now, starting to think about family and prioritizing and whatnot, the health side of things, I've never been unhealthy, but just being cognizant of, exercising more, eating really well, and making sure that you can pour from a full cup, because if you lose that, then it's going to drain your energy and all these other things that we're all taking on. Yeah. And then the other big thing I would say is just the people you surround yourself with. You hear that all the time, like you're the product of the 5 people you spend time with, the most time with. And that's where this group is huge. Like I know we met at one of the first VIP events, and then that snowballed to meeting the rest of these guys. And you don't get to have these conversations every day, like on Friday Night Softball League. That's a different group of friends, which is great. And I appreciate that for what it is. But this conversation is different than that. And you can talk about different things. And I think it kind of get deep in terms of like the philosophy and the why and some of that stuff. You need to have the right group of people to talk about that with. And that's what I love this community for in general, is you can get kind of deep on this stuff of why we're all doing this and why we're working so hard. Is you see a path at the end of the tunnel, but it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of ups and downs and volatility along the way. Yeah.
Cool. So things have changed, maturing, growing up. It's good.
It definitely takes a lot of sacrifices too, because there are times you're losing a lot of time, right? You're just like running around doing things. Sometimes for me personally, for maybe messed up reasons, it's kind of fun to take it on a bunch of things and just doing it, because one year we did like 3 Airbnbs almost back to back. And then after, me and Greta were like, we don't seem that busy anymore. It was like, at the time when we were doing it, maybe we don't enjoy it as much, but we kind of enjoy the journey of like, figuring it out. And it's like, now we kind of had it like, to set up a 2-bedroom Airbnb, we could probably do it over a weekend because we just know what to do. Yep. Right. But in the beginning we didn't. So we were kind of figuring it out as we went. But now I think I had to slow down a bit, just because having a kid on the way is going to be slightly different. And you got to be home a little bit more and then doing, but like for most of the time I am like, my 9 to 5 is remote. So I am pretty flexible. I'm at home. And maybe I'll have some showings in the evenings. I'll do that. And then I come back, and it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I think to your point about there's only trade-offs, not solutions. Like the benefits of starting young is you can make all of these mistakes and get all these lessons in when you have the energy and when you're young and you don't have the same commitments or family obligations. And then that allows you to now be more present with your family later on. And, as opposed to starting later. The sacrifice is you give up maybe what the typical 20s or early 30s looks like in terms of the average person, and enjoying themselves a little bit more.
Still party time.
Well, that's the thing. You can kind of do both, but there's still there's always a trade-off is what I found. Like you can do both, but what I noticed is like I used to think I could do it all, and I'd be with family or friends or Christina, and I wouldn't be mentally present because it's like my mind's spinning, my mind's worrying. So it's like, I can physically be at both places. I can work in the morning, hang out at night, but am I really there and present and enjoying myself and really living in that moment? Or am I just there to go through the social obligation of being there, but I'm not mentally there? Yeah. And so I'm like, no, there's like, you really can't do it all. Like you have to pick and choose. Like you can be there, but you're not going to enjoy yourself as much.
100%.
I think the other thing, to Robin's point about seeing like in your line of work, people's health and people that take care of themselves and how that positively compounds, or if they're not taking care of themselves, that negatively compounds. Our hope and what we would believe from the research we've done, and Rockstar helps with too, is like if we can set these assets up with the real estate and savings and Bitcoin and businesses, that if we give ourselves, even that we've hustled these 5-10 years to get it set up, then you zoom out another 10 years that might go by really quick when you've got young family and whatnot at home. Hopefully you're in a really good spot and you've got a lot of options. That's kind of what Maggie and I are talking about right now, is like it's been 6 years of getting some of this set up. Let's now like focus on family and like give ourselves, just hopefully have this systemized and running on the background. Even if we don't do a whole lot in the next few years because you get busy, then you have 5-10 more years of properties paying down, appreciation, savings, business building, all of that stuff that we're going to continue to do. And then you're in a really good spot when you're, because you hustled in that earlier stage of life.
Very true.
And I think the social contract that we were told growing up is kind of like broken or eroded away. if you look at your 20s and your 30s, maybe that's a decade, maybe that's 2 decades where you can really live life up. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to assume I'm going to stop working at 65. However, I can tell you now, with longevity science ahead of us, we're going to be not working, but living very well in terms of morbidity or lack of morbidity and quality of life into our 70s, 80s, and 90s. So if you ask me, Robin, would you give up 2 decades in your front run to have good quality golden years in my back end? Any day of the week. But if your assumption that 65, you're going to put your feet up and have nothing else to do, sure, you might do it in your 20s, but your 40s and your 50s are going to be hard. You do hard things, you're going to have an easy life. You do easy things, you're going to have a hard life. So that's what the trade-off was, 20s and 30s, maybe less partying. But those days are gone behind me. I can still party now, keeping my body in a good shape and having the assets I have ahead of me for many more decades than the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's becoming more normalized too. Even, you guys give me the gears for the non-alcoholic beers and whatnot. But like,
I think we all had it last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we all are doing it.
You said you had a cold one, and the cold one was like a President's Choice lime bubbly.
Water.
So that's not a cold one.
But to the point of that, like I'm going to weddings this summer and like people aren't drinking and like, they're being cognizant of what they're eating. And like, I think that's becoming more normal, where 5 years ago you were kind of like a bit of the weird one for doing that stuff. But to your point there, Robin, I think it's more normal for younger people to think about that, the health and prioritization. Who knows if it's just a phase or whatever, but it seems like a lot more socially acceptable.
What do you
now.
think's happening there with that one? I don't think people have gotten smarter. I think people have always known like drinking makes me feel terrible.
Well, it could be maybe, I guess, the spread of social media. Like I know, do you guys see that Brian Johnson guy, that Netflix documentary? Do you know who I'm talking about? He's
Don't Die.
He sold a tech company for like, multiple $100 million, and he's basically just now trying to live forever. So they had a Netflix documentary, but now I see that guy, maybe it's just me and like being targeted, but he's now out there spreading more about like, do this before bed. Here's your nighttime routine. Here's things to eat. Like,
there is more knowledge.
There's just, it's out there now. So maybe people's algorithms, I don't know what it would be, but in this circle, obviously you surround yourself with people thinking around the same, then you're going to think the same yourself. And the other thing, like we talk about at the event sometimes too, is like, what's the point of doing all this hustle and trying to make all this money if you're 60 years old and you're overweight and your knees aren't working and you can't go travel and enjoy it? Like, you got to take care of yourself to be able to do that. That's, realizations that we're having in this room, but I don't know if other people feel the same way or not, or if they're more just living for today, or because that would lead to not as healthy of decisions, right? So I don't know.
Just trade-offs. I do think that saving travel to your 60s post-retirement is definitely a big mistake, though, because there's just so many more things you're limited to. Your energy's so much lower. You can take less risks. You can do way less physical things. You can't go whitewater rafting or
hiking.
Big hikes like you just did Patagonia, right? And all these hikes. Like, you could do that because you're in great shape right now. Can you do that when you're in your 60s and 70s?
Traditionally, no, but if you keep care of your body, yes.
True.
That's a trade-off then.
Yeah. People are going to be living longer, but also need more money because of currency debasement and the way things are going.
Bingo.
Yeah, like with modern medicine, you're going to live longer for sure. How well are you going to live is going to be slightly different, right? If you're popping pills all the time and you're like living in a bed, it's not the same lifestyle as like you're going and doing stuff.
Yeah, and is 65 going to be a sustainable retirement age for most people at this point? It doesn't look that way. It looks like it's probably going to keep getting
75 by the time you get older.
75, 85.
We need to pay CRA, right? At the end of the day.
To your earlier point about the Gen Zs or Gen Zs, I think traditionally we get all our media from traditional media. And traditional media, let's say for our parents, are highly sponsored or advertised by companies like Anheuser-Busch or InBev, which proliferate more of the drinking. Whereas like I'm on Twitter more than I don't even have a TV. So I'm going to listen to Twitter and maybe about that bro science, which will talk more about some of the things that will help you rather than persuaded marketing talking about, hey, have a Coors Light on this day because that's what normal people do.
Take this prescription to feel better.
Yeah, that's look at your channels, your commercials. Even during the World Cup, half of it's going to be beer-based commercials.
Beer, pharma
or food.
Oh, some big commercials.
Fast food.
So like, what are those ones? The GLP ones? Yeah. That's big now.
It is true. Yeah. I didn't think about that. You articulated what I was trying to say a lot better there, Robin, but social media people are choosing their own like accounts to follow. So it's more streamlined of what they want to see, but I don't watch very much TV either. The only thing I'll watch is like a live sporting event. And usually I try and pause it so I can skip through all the commercials, but it's funny when you look at a commercial now and you can kind of take like just a bird's eye view, like how targeted and like what they're promoting with food and with drinking and gambling. The gambling one's terrible now. Like that's what people are unfortunately spending their money on now.
Gambling ads everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
And everybody's doing it. Like everybody that watches sports gambles on sports.
Really?
It's become normalized. So that's like a trade-off, I guess. Like 5 years ago, that wasn't around, but neither was like non-alcoholic drinks. But now gambling's replaced. People might not be drinking as much because they're spending their disposable income on gambling, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I just thought it'd be a great idea to get you guys in the room, especially because you're doing such unique things with your properties, and just kind of talk about it, share some ideas with other people. And if somebody's younger listening to this, kind of see where the journey can take you and different stuff you can do. And that's about it. I think we should go have some burgers and beers, or non-alcoholic.
Cold ones, as Connor would say.
Whatever the hell Connor's drinking there. But
poor guy.
It's like a PC drink, right, Connor?
I'll be the punching bag. I'm fine.
Poor guy. No,
that's all right. His liver is just way healthier than all of ours. But okay, cool. Appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks for this, guys.
Yeah, this was fun.
Okay,
thanks,
awesome.
Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
Hey, thanks for listening to the episode. So I forgot to ask these guys if they wanted to share any contact info at the end, and they agreed to share it. If you do want to reach out, have any questions for them, just want to make contact, you can find Connor Eagleson on LinkedIn. Just search Connor Eagleson. Chinthu, you can reach him at chinthu@rockstarbrokerage.com. That's his email address if anybody wants to reach out regarding short-term or mid-term rentals or any other real estate-related questions. And then Robin, his website is financiallyfulfilledpro.com. His LinkedIn is Robin Valadares. You can find him there, and his Instagram is Financially Fulfilled Pro, and that's where you can find his financial education, business, and content for healthcare providers specifically. So thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.